Hello, and welcome back to video 2 of the intro to the tour of the chakras. So in this video, we're going to look at posture for meditation and, um, and also the breath, the Tibetan breath, which is discussed a little bit in your intro pack. And we're going to learn how to do that. So if you're just coming back, or if you need a little refresher to check into that heart center, then just bring your left palm right over to the center heart, or the fingertips, the nadis, to that center heart, and just let them float a little bit above the heart center. I feel my heartbeat and it feels good. I feel my heartbeat and it feels good. I feel my heartbeat and it feels good. All right. So for posture, we're going to attempt to allow the sits bones, which are the two pointed bones under the cushiest part of the tuchus, or the butt, to just sink right into our meditation pillow. And the pelvic bone, which is the front point, so if you imagine this like a triangle, like you're sitting on a triangle, so the pelvic bone, and then the back points right here are the sits bones. I'm going to see if we can allow that triangle to get parallel with the floor, making contact. Don't think about the muscles or pushing or pulling. Just imagine it's unraveling, it's releasing. The roots are spreading out, supporting you. Just releasing through the pillow, through the floor, all the way down until they reach into the earth. And so when I speak of aligning triangles, let's imagine that your whole body is made like this in a biped's body, somebody who walks on 2 feet upright. There's the triangle of the feet, right, which is reversed. That triangle goes this way. So we have the big toe to the little toes. That's the back end of the triangle. And the point is the heel of the foot. So those are triangles. And then at the hips, right underneath the sits bones to the pelvic bone, that's a triangle. And then the shoulder blades to the front point at the heart, that's a triangle. And then another triangle above that, at the top notch of the spine, just behind the mouth, to the front of the brow point, the mouth, that's a triangle. So if you can align those triangles, just allow them to come into balance with each other. You'll find it's easier to breathe. And so thinking from the perspective of the bones, not the muscles, this is actually a suggestion of the Alexander technique, or a directive of the Alexander technique, which has to do with body alignment. Check in with your joint points. The top notch of the spine, the skull is just sitting on top of it, like a soft little cherry sitting on top of the sundae. And you don't have to pull or droop. It's just sitting right on top there. And then the shoulders, begin to notice the distance from one shoulder to the next and how much space there is. And the only bone within the rib cage in the front is the sternum. Boop. It just travels all the way down to just above the solar plexus where the ribs begin to part, all the way up through the collarbone. But everything else within the rib cage in the front, this is all soft. It is not solid bone. It is protective, but movable, flexible. Sometimes just talking about the breath can get somebody going who's got anxiety stuffs. So we're going to do what's called the 6-4-5 breath. We're going to draw in for 6 seconds. We're going to hold the breath for 4 seconds, and then we're going to exhale for 5 seconds. And the exhale will be through the mouth. The inhale is through the nose. In again, 6. Hold. Release. And just doing a cycle like that 3 times can reset the breath, can reset our minds, right? It's a mindfulness action. So whether you're on a chair or a pillow does not matter. What matters is that those triangles are aligned, that the spine is released, allowed to be in its natural posture, the way that it was made to release upward without any crunching or flopping. And this is especially necessary. It's not necessary for all forms of meditation necessarily, but it is necessary in any kind of chakra-based meditation process. So each one of the chakras are more in balance and more aligned when we allow our natural posture. So next we're going to get into the breathing technique. And as we do this, I just want you to keep that open mind. This breathing technique will not be necessarily natural to everyone, and it may be very natural to some. This technique is, it's a part of the pranayama practice, which is essentially postural meditative yoga. So some of you may be exposed to some of these techniques before. But for those of you who aren't, just keep an open mind. Your body was made to be able to do these things. So the Tibetan breath, it aligns and grounds the system. It also connects it and awakens the subtle body and the subtle awareness, which increases our intuition at every level. At the level of sensing, feeling, intuiting through wisdom, intuiting through auditory, intuiting through vision, and intuiting through pure knowledge, right? So there is a 6th sense, an additive sense to every single one of the chakras, right? It develops over time. And not one of them is better than another. We have access to intuition at the place that is most available to us and that is most practiced. So, so there's that. So the entry point is drawn from the mouth through the nose, even though we're not breathing through the mouth. And how we do that is by breathing at the higher point of the nose, as if we are taking in the air at the top of our nose, as opposed to low nose. If you've ever heard or been the person who is making a very sounded nasal breath, or even if you have a stuffed nose, you can still take this breath up here. So, placing the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, behind the front teeth, release the jaw. The only thing keeping the mouth closed are the lips. Okay. So the Tibetan breath is just one cycle is to draw in through the left nostril and then out through the right, in through the right, out through the left, in through both, out through both. As said, if you're not familiar with this, like any muscle, it just takes a little practice and it will become natural. What some people do in order to practice it is they'll just make their pinky and index finger available. And so if you want to close the right, use the pinky, close that nostril, and draw in, but don't draw low. Imagine there's a nostril up near your eye and draw in that way. And then move that, close the right and let out, close the left and let out through the right. In right, out left. In both, out both. So it may take practice. It's not comfortable for me at this point in time to close a nostril. It actually makes me a little needy of a tissue. And it may not be easy to draw up either side because there might be a channel that is a little bit blocked or hindered at this point in time. But the more you practice this is the more you open up the whole channel, right? So, and we'll definitely get into what those subtle channels look like within the course. But for right now, as you're sitting, it's up, right? So they don't have to be up in the air, but as they're rested on your lap, let them be open with a little bit of tension in them, right? So this means not like loose or soft or separated, but instead a little bit of tension through the hand and then just rest that on the lap. Now, I have the camera down here so that you can see, dependent on your height, your arms are important, the placement of them. Because if they're too far up, then there's tension being placed on the back part, the back shoulder blades. So if you just want to bring them up toward your knees and then slowly, very slowly, draw them in. And find the place where your shoulder blades just whoop, pop open, release. And that's where your palms should be. And you just keep them open and flexed. Okay. So we're just going to practice going in a loop. And for this, I'm going to keep track of these breaths. If you're trying to keep track on your own, you can use mala. I'm looking for mine, but they're not right here right now. You can use mala or prayer beads to keep track of each breath. It's an excellent practice to start out with mala. So we're going to tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth. in left, out right, in right, out left, in both, out both. Continue. We'll continue these phases for 33 rotations. I'll keep track. Don't worry about getting it perfectly. Focal point for this meditation. entering the final cycle. In left. All right. In right. Out left. In both. Out both. Releasing the breath. And allowing now the visualization of a golden sunbeam entering through the ceiling where you sit. And pouring down golden light which surrounds you. Entering from 3.5 feet around you. Filling the energetic body slowly. And with every exhale, black smoke pours out as golden light slowly infiltrates, warms, heals, aligns. Drawing in a large intentional breath that fills the low lungs, mid lungs, and high lungs full of this golden light. Exhaling black smoke carrying all stress, tension, frustration, and worry. Second, releasing the meditation. And in sync with the third exhale, releasing the eyes open. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed the preparatory meditation for Tour of the Chakras. Continue to work with this meditation throughout the week or month, or however you're timing it, to prepare your subtle system and subtle body to be able to take in the full power teachings and make use of the tools that we will be learning in the Tour of the Chakras. I am so happy that you've chosen to join me in this process wherever you are along your own personal path to self-awakening and realizing your own power so that you can actualize your life, your greatest and highest ambitions. Every single person that brings the intention to awaken and realize their own power, both in the physical and non-physical world, makes this world a better place. And I thank you for your contribution to making this world a little better. So on that note, I will leave you. And if you do have any questions or anything that you are wondering, it's always a good idea to write down questions and then to sit in a meditation and let the answers come. So for this week, it's really just practicing that Tibetan breath. And I am certain by the end of it, you will have improved and gotten a stronger feel of it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Go within or go without. Bum, bum, bum. All right. See you next class.